Good morning and welcome everyone to another segment of VTF Live, where we are excited as it has been another exciting week for the beginner track interns. I would like to introduce myself. My name is Mallory Vega. I am the Director of Operations here at Virtualization Foundation. Now I will also like to introduce you to Karthik Ramswamy, who is the Manager of Technology and Development.
Thank you, Mallory.
Okay, all right. Virtually Testing Foundation is a nonprofit volunteer-run organization since 2012. We neither sell products, services, or data, and our only goal is to serve the community. Our mission is to offer beginner and advanced internships which will benefit the community. Also, our vision is to invest in and any all resources that will provide quality learning experience to communities. VTF is the first and only unique volunteer-run nonprofit organization offering hands-on cybersecurity internships and much more. As you can see, we have 30,000 plus members in our organization, we are very proud of, and we hope you can also be a part of VTF and gain an immense experience. Currently, we have open positions for advanced internships, and if you are interested, you can go ahead and apply at virtuallytestingfoundation.org. Or if you know somebody who is interested, you can go ahead and share this amazing opportunity with them. Now let's briefly recap what our beginner track interns have been working on this past few weeks. Karthik?
Thank you, Mary. Now let's learn and see what interns learned in week one. For week one, we intended to provide a general introduction to key concepts in cybersecurity. It is aimed at anyone with a good general knowledge of information and communications technology. The nature, scope, and importance of cybersecurity are explained, and key concepts are justified and explored. This includes examining the types of threats that cybersecurity must address, as well as the range of mechanisms, both technological and procedural, that can be deployed. The role of cryptography is provided. Security is explored, including how algorithms and keys plays their part in enabling cybersecurity. The key supporting function played by key management is identified, including why the use of cryptographic functions depends on it. The need for security management in an organization is explained, and its main elements are introduced, including the key role played by risk management. The importance of standardized approaches to security management is also explained, as in the notion of compliance. For week two, to put simply, we interns learned about SIEM, which is a security solution that helps organizations recognize potential security threats and vulnerabilities before they have a chance to disrupt business operations. It surfaces user behavior anomalies and uses artificial intelligence to automate many of the manual processes associated with threat detection and incident response, and has become a staple in modern day security operation centers SOCs for security and compliance management use case. Then comes log management. It is the practice of continuously gathering, storing, processing, synthesizing, and analyzing data from disparate programs and applications in order to optimize system performance, identify technical issues, better manage resources, and strengthen security and improve compliances. So for week three, interns learned about OSINT. So the first step in a targeted attack or a penetration test or red team activity is to gather intelligence on the target. While there are ways and means to do this covertly, intelligence gathering usually starts with scraping information from public source collectively, known as collectively. known as open source intelligence or OSN. There is such a wealthy or legal collectible OSN available. Now, thanks to social media and the prevalence of online activities, that this may be all that is required to give an attacker everything they need to successfully profile an organization or individual. For week 4, network security was introduced to interns. Network security is broad term that covers a multitude of technologies, devices and processes. In the simplest term, it is the set of rules and configurations designed to protect the integrity, confidentiality and accessibility of computer networks and data using both software and hardware technologies. Every organization, regardless of size, industry, or infrastructure, requires a degree of network security solutions in place to protect it from the ever growing landscape of cyber threats in the wild today. For week 5, interns learned about endpoint security. It is the process of securing endpoints or entry points of end users' devices, such as desktops, laptops, and mobile devices, from being exploited by malicious actors and campaigns. Endpoint security system protects these endpoints on a network or in the cloud from cybersecurity threats. Endpoint security has evolved from traditional antivirus software to providing comprehensive protection from sophisticated malware and evolving zero-day threats. So now let's learn what interns learned for week 6. Okay. For the cybersecurity task, interns learned about web application security, also known as web AppSec. In the idea of building websites to function as expected, even when they are under attack, the concept involves a collection of security controls engineered into an application to protect its assets from potential malicious agents. Web applications, like all software, inevitably contain defects. Some of these defects constitute actual vulnerabilities that can be exploited, introducing risk to organizations. Web application security depends against such defects. It involves leverage secure development practices and implementing security measures throughout the software development lifecycle, ensuring that design level flaws and implementation bugs are addressed. So web security testing aims to find security vulnerabilities in web application and their configuration. The primary target is the application layer, which is running on the HTTP protocol. Testing the security of a web application other often involves sending different types of input to provoke error and make the system behave in unexpected ways. This so-called negative test examines whether the system is doing something it isn't designed to do. It is also important to understand that web security testing is not only about testing the security features like authentication and authorization that may be implemented in the application. It is equally important to test the other features which are implemented in a secure way. Because, for example, like business logic and the use of proper input validation and output encoding. The goal is to ensure that functions exposed in the web application are secure. Now, for the business etiquette task, we had introduced them to team conflict management. So, team conflict arises when there are disagreements over the goal, methods, or needs of the team. Conflicts can also occur when there are differing personalities. At first, these conflicts may seem commonplace, but failing to resolve them could hurt productivity and overall morale. When conflict between team members arise, addressing these disagreements and coming to a mutual understanding allows everyone to collaborate harmoniously and productively. Conflict resolution is a valuable leadership skill to have. Individuals with ability to recognize conflict, acknowledge differences, and find quick and peaceful resolutions are essential to an organization. And in the network visibility task, we had asked the interns to post about what they learned each week and also connect with their peers. Over to you, Mallory.
Thank you, Karthik. For this week, our interns have learned about virtualization fundamentals. Now, what is virtualization? Virtualization is a technology that lets you create useful IT services using resources that are traditionally bound to hardware. It allows you to use a physical machine's full capacity by distributing its capabilities among many users or environments. In more practical terms, imagine you have three physical servers with individual dedicated purposes. One is a mail server, another is a web server, and the last one runs internal legacy applications. Each server is being used at about 30% capacity, just a fraction of their running potential. But once the legacy apps may remain important to your internal operations, you have to keep them and the third server that hosts them, correct? Traditionally, it is often easier and more reliable to run individual tasks on individual servers. One server, one operating system, one task. It wasn't easy to give one server multiple brains, but with virtualization, you can split the mail server into two unique ones that can handle independent tasks so that the legacy apps can be migrated. It's the same hardware, you're just using more of it efficiently. Keeping security in mind, you can also split the first server again so it can handle another task, increasing its use from 30% to 60% or to 90%. Once you do that, the now empty servers could be reused for other tasks or retired altogether to reduce cooling or maintenance costs. How does virtualization work? Software called hypervisors separate the physical resources from the virtual environments, the things that need those resources. Hypervisors can sit on top of an operating system like a laptop or a desktop, or be installed directly onto a hardware like a server, which is how most enterprises virtualize. Hypervisors take your physical resources and divide them up so that the virtual environments can be used. Resources are partitioned as needed from the physical environment to the many virtual environments. Users interact with and run computations within the virtual environment, typically called as guest machines or what we know as virtual machine. The virtual machine functions as a single data file, and like any digital file, it can be moved from one computer to another, open in either one, and be expected to work the same. When the virtual environment is running and a user or a program issues an instruction that requires additional resources from the physical environment, the hypervisor relays the request to the physical system and caches the changes, which all happens at close to native speed, particularly if you request is sent through an open source hypervisor based on a KVM or a kernel-based virtual machine. Now there are types of virtualization. There's a data virtualization, which spreads all over and can be consolidated into a single source. Data virtualization allows companies to treat data as a dynamic supply, providing process capabilities that can bring together data from multiple sources. There's also desktop virtualization. Easily confused with operating system virtualization, which allows you to deploy multiple operating systems on a single machine. Desktop virtualization allows a central administrator or automated administration tool to deploy simulated desktop environments to hundreds of physical machines at once. There's also server virtualization. Servers are computers designed to process high volume of specific tasks really well so other computers, like laptops or desktops, can do a variety of other tasks. Virtualizing a server lets it do more of these specific functions and involves partitioning it so that the components can be used to serve multiple functions. There's also operating system virtualization, which happens at the kernel or the central task managers of operating systems. It's usually a way to run Linux and Windows environments side by side. Enterprises can use this to push virtual operating systems to computer. There's also network function virtualization. Network function virtualization separates in network key functions like a directory services, file sharing, or IP configurations so they can be distributed among environments. Once software functions are independent of the physical machines they once lived on, specific functions can be packaged together into a new network and assigned to an environment. For business etiquette, our beginner interns have learned about highlighting their accomplishments. When it comes to having a successful career, there is no substitute for hard work. On the other hand, hard work won't do you any good if your accomplishments are going to be unnoticed. If you're anything like me, you probably believe your work should speak for itself and that the idea of tooting your own horn sounds, well, obnoxious. But waiting around hoping your good work will catch the boss's eye could be preventing you from getting your recognition and possibly the promotion that you deserve. But how do you let people know about your good work without sounding like a jerk? Well, here are some techniques that we have taught our interns and we found them very successful. This can be good in both in an interview setting or a performance review setting. First tip will be tracking your success. If someone were to ask you, what did you do this month at work that you're most proud of? Would you be able to answer? Maybe or maybe not. It's very easy to get stuck in a day-to-day grind of work and forget to take note of all the great things you do for the company. So make sure you plan how you going to stay on top of your successes. While this won't necessarily get you success notice, it will help you to be more aware of them so that you can know what to share with other people. The next tip we would be teaching is start a career journal. And at the end of every day, quickly jot down what went well and what you're looking forward to by tackling tomorrow. Capturing your day-to-day successes while also keeping your progress in the context of a larger projects, it will help you gain your organization and help your organization move forward as well as your team. Finally, look at your job description. For each duty, say to yourself, I know what I'm doing this well because, and a list of specific examples that illustrates your success. If you're hoping to move up in the company or organization, you can also do this exercise with the job description of the title that you want. For network visibility, we have our beginner track interns post what they have learned every week, and this week is no exception. We know that professional services have adopted digital techniques, especially when it comes to recruitment. It goes without saying that any professional wants to develop, monitor, and nurture connections, and most of them have a presence in the on-the-go social media platform such as LinkedIn or Twitter. But it's also more than just being there. To get the greatest return for our interns' investment, we taught them that there are certain factors that matter more than others, and the ultimate goal is growth, professionally and personally. Karthik?
Thank you, Valerie. So, all right, folks, that's it for our live today. Thank you, everyone, for joining us this week's live. To follow along what our beginner track interns are doing, please visit vtf.academy. Also, please check out our website, virtuallytestingfoundation.org, and follow our social media page to stay tuned for information and announcement on our future beginner track curriculum and an internship for 2023. We are very excited about it. So take care, be safe, and see you all at our next VTF Live session next week. Have a wonderful day ahead. Bye, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.